Hey, this is Spencer Wright. I am here to just give a little tour of how we manufacture public radios in my basement workshop. So I'm here, this is kind of an all-purpose workstation and desk also. Do a couple things here, recording or editing a podcast on one side, and kind of everything from here over is set up for fulfilling orders for the public radio. The remarkable thing about this, not to jump to the gun, is that we are able, with this system, to take partially manufactured electronic goods, and after an order is placed, we're able to personalize them, do final assembly, put them in a box, and get them out the door, usually within 24 hours or so. And we can do it kind of alongside other work that's happening in our business and in our lives. So to do that, we use Tulip. I have written a little bit about Tulip on my blog before and mentioned it in the Prepared a bunch of times. If there's more resources online for that. But we have a laptop running Tulip right here. I'm going to go ahead and press begin, which starts the process. The first thing that happens is a shipping label prints right from our order database on this label printer. Everything that we do is built off of these shipping labels. And so the first thing we start with is scanning the barcode on that shipping label. That looks up the order. You can see here, this is an uncommon goods order. The frequency is 88.1. And once we have that information, we're also able to print out a packing list. So this packing list is formatted for uncommon goods orders. This is a single line order with this one radio in it. At this point, I'm going to go over to my tray of mechanically assembled radios, grab one here, and scan its barcode on the bottom right there. That is going to look up the radio's serial number in our database. It confirms that this radio does actually exist, and it also checks to make sure that its quality control status is passed. At this point, I turn the radio on and turn the volume all the way up and put it down in this little programming jig. This is just an AVR ISP with a little programming pogo pin bed there. Push it down, make sure it's making good contact, and then I just press the foot pedal. That begins the tuning sequence and then confirms that the radio can actually play audio. What's happening there, and if I turn around I can show you, behind all these printers there are two little enclosures here. The first one, this gray one, is the Tulip interface that actually links our barcode scanner and foot pedal and so on and so forth to the Tulip database and all of our cloud-based processes. And then we have a Raspberry Pi right there as well. The Raspberry Pi is doing two things here. The first one is actually calling AVR Dude and programming the radio. We create EEPROM files for every single order on the fly and then program them onto a radio on a one-by-one basis. That has the country code and the tuning details and so on and so forth. And the second thing the Raspberry Pi is doing is actually broadcasting that FM test tone. And so when you hear audio come out of the speaker, what you're hearing is a signal that's being played on the Raspberry Pi and broadcast on a GPIO pin via this wire right here. It's being picked up by the radio because the radio has power when it's in this jig. And then the radio, so the radio is tuning into the same station as the FM test tone is being broadcast on. And so if you hear a sound, you know that the radio, A, can receive a signal on that frequency, B, can process the audio off of it, and C, can then play it through its speaker. Typically, I'll also, while the test tone is playing, I'll kind of mess around with the volume control just to make sure that that's working as well. Once the operator hears all of that, they press the yes button right here. That confirms that this radio has been programmed It then prints what we call the box label. The box label has a QR code on it as well, which is the same code as is on the bottom of the radio. We use that to make sure that the operator actually boxes the right radio, because if you as a customer receive this thing and open it up and it's tuned to the wrong frequency, it's kind of useless. So at this point, I would take the radio, if I had two hands, and I would put it in a jar, put the ring on the jar, put the packing list, and then the radio in the box with one of these little thank you cards and an antenna, obviously. And then I seal the box up with the box label. I scan that, and then I put the shipping label on the outside, and I scan that as well. Once all of that happens, the radio is marked as boxed, and the shipment is marked as boxed as well. And if we had the customer's email address, which we do on some but not all of our orders, then we automatically send the customer a note saying, hey, your radio has shipped, and it has this tracking info. So as you can see, it's a very quick process. I mean, me talking about it, it's a little bit slower, but typically we're able to process an order in about a minute or so, maybe as long as a minute 10 or so. Obviously, multi-line orders are a little bit longer, but if we get a handful of orders overnight, we can just come in here in the morning and process them, pick them up, and in a half hour they're done, and they can be out the door the next day, which we think is pretty remarkable. Thanks for watching. Be sure to watch the other videos I uploaded that have a little bit less talking, a little bit more doing, and send any questions that you have our way. Happy to answer whatever is not proprietary, which is most of it. So thanks, guys. Bye.